I went to my first car show and was like, oh my God, this actually exists? So growing up, I was never really into cars all that much. Kind of kid that give me Fortnite or something like that every day over cars until something changed around 2016. If I was born in 2007, how old was I in 2016?
If you were born in 2007, you would have been 9 years old in 2016.
What?
The calculation.
So when I was 9 years old, my dad actually went out and purchased a Mustang. At the time, I didn't know anything about cars, and a car like that just I didn't realize existed, and you could just get something cool like that. So it started to kind of get me in the door of cars. So I'll kind of knock out half the name just right off the bat is the shadow portion was actually from the Mustang. The Mustang being a color code called Shadow Black from Ford. Now, with that being the introduction to cars for me and being something special on that aspect, I kind of built my name off of that. Over the next 2 to 3 years, it was just kind of like, oh, we had the car, it was cool. And then as I got older, around 13 ish, 14 ish, I was like, wow, cars are really cool. And I started to like actually really get involved with them. Now, by involved with them, I mean I just started watching YouTube videos all over the place at the time. So Stradman was huge at that time, along with a channel called Savage Garage. Now, watching these people like Savage Garage and Stradman, I realized that there's a lot more out there than just Mustangs. There's this whole different world of supercars, builds, American cars still, but like Japanese and stuff as well. And, there's a totally different thing of seeing them on a screen, or for the older folks, seeing a poster in your room that you may have had. But when you actually see them in person, it's a whole different realm. And to me, at the time, I didn't think that was a possibility at all. I was watching all these YouTubers, primarily Savage Garage at the time, which actually they played a huge role in the naming of my name as well. Originally was going to be Shadow's Garage. However, I didn't want to take away the SG logo and everything that they were already using. So I swapped over to just Cars, and now it's going to be an SC. So like I said, I'm watching their videos, and I see that they go to this event called Cars and Coffee. At the time, had no idea what that was, and I'm like, hey, that's pretty cool. They got some cool stuff out there. I wonder if I can go to one. So I talked to my dad about it. Reminder, at the time I am 13, 14 years old, so I cannot drive. I managed to convince him to take me to one of the local Cars and Coffees in my area. Now, he ends up telling me after the fact that he thought it was going to be an absolute flop and just be a bunch of like junk and stuff there, and he thought nothing of it. And when we get there, it's crazy. The scene was insane about 3 to 4 years ago with these meets and stuff. I mean, everything in the world would come out. Now it's kind of too common. People don't really bring stuff out, but this is the first car show that I ever go to in my life. There's McLarens, Lamborghinis, SVJs, SVs, which at the time are brand new that just came out. And I'm just awestruck. As someone going from watching it on a screen to actually seeing it in real life and seeing, wow, these cars exist and people drive them is a totally different experience, like I said. You can imagine them through a screen or a poster and imagine how they sound in person, look in person, feel in person, but actually going to an event like this and seeing them, hearing them, and people actually driving them, willing to talk about them, is just an incredible experience for someone who's never done this before. And after that, I was absolutely hooked. And with events like Cars and Coffee being a consistent weekly event, I would bother my dad every weekend to go to these events. He, of course, was not a huge fan of them. He's like, hey, I got so many better things I could be doing on the weekends. I just bought the car just to have fun sometimes and drive around. Mind you, to this day, he still says his car is not cool enough for car shows, and it's a V6 Mustang, which some people might agree with, but some of the things at these car shows are pretty trash. So, I mean, it's not the worst thing ever. But yeah, over the next couple of years, I bother my dad more and more. I go to car shows here and there, etc., etc. But eventually, I turned 16 and I'm able to get my hands on my very first car. That very first car, of course, being a 2005 Toyota Corolla LE, which everybody knows, incredible vehicle. No car will ever beat that. This Audi, trash compared to it. Love the Corolla. I still have it. It's chef's kiss. Now, before I turned 16, I was filming a few things here and there for YouTube and for personal just enjoyment, but once I bought my car and was able to actually go places and film stuff every weekend possible, I just kicked into high gear and filmed every single event. Now, I wasn't doing weekly uploads like I am this year, but last year I was doing like every other weekend. You would get a video of me at a car show, mostly walking around cars. That was basically my whole thing was I would go to meets, walk around cars, show the cars. But something started to change. See, by doing that, I was taking photos on Instagram and stuff as well and posting it. I met a lot of really cool people, as you very well know from past videos. I started to get heads up about bigger and bigger events. I started getting invited to some private stuff, and eventually started getting into some cruises. Yes, even just driving the 2005 Toyota Corolla, I managed to end up in a couple different cruises, whether it was with the Corolla, we've taken the Bronco on cruises before. I don't know how I ended up there. I didn't have anything fast that could keep up with people, but it was a crazy experience at the time. So I'm going to all these shows and talking to all these people, getting connections here, there, etc., until I turn 18 and I go out and purchase the 2014 Audi S4, which is gone because I needed something different, but it was a great car. Now, purchasing that car was part of the turning point for Shadows Cars as a channel, but what really kicked it off was when I got invited to a cruise and met the starting portion of the group, which was Manpreet with the Gold GTR. After that cruise, we exchanged numbers and everything. We started talking a lot, and the whole thing was, hey, we got to do these cruises to everything. Everybody loves driving. That's a lot better than these car shows. So that's kind of what the channel started flipping into. Now, at this point, it was hard go on YouTube and Instagram. Started posting actual short form stuff later in that year, started cruising with the guys, and it just really started to develop. Every private event optional in the Cleveland area I was at, every cruise that happened, whether it was with the supercar guys or our main cruise group, I was there. I mean, everything really started to just do really well. And it's all because of this stupid Shadows Cars thing and my dad purchasing a car 5 years ago, 10 years ago. It's 10 years now. Jeez, I am old, man. Now, the whole experience of getting into the car scene from the beginning to where I am now really is an eye opener. And it brings me to the point of where I am willing to talk to anybody, whether it's a DM from a random person on Instagram or TikTok, or somebody that I meet in person who will just talk to me. I'm always open to having a discussion with people and help them where I can, whether it's advice about a car, helping them get into the scene more with different events here, there, or maybe they are just looking to grow YouTube as well or something like that and want to shoot some stuff. I always know some people, I always know some places, I always know some events. But yeah, that's basically the origin story of Shadows Cars. I want to say I'm super sad of what ended up happening with Savage Garage because it was such a huge part in where I am today. It's just the biggest inspiration out there was Randy and the way that he was making his videos, showing these cars to people and just having fun with them. And that's basically what I want to end up doing. And where we're slowly getting to that point. But yeah, that's basically the origin story of Shadows Cars. We should be done with these kind of talking style videos in the next month or so once weather plateaus itself, because right now it's jumping back and forth between 70 and 20 degrees. So hopefully we don't have snow anymore. We'll be doing stuff soon. No, Luke, don't say like and subscribe. That's lame.